We're going to talk about Niners training camp. Where's Trent Williams at? UFC 304. We recap everything after the intro. What's going on, my beautiful people? It's your boy Gio, back with another episode of the Gio Jackson Show. How's everyone doing? Again, happy Monday. Hopefully the start of the week's going well. Hopefully whatever you got going on, you take care of it, take care of business, as I'm sure all you guys always do. But keep pushing through. It's Monday. How's everyone doing? How was everyone's weekend? Hope everyone had a great weekend. But last week we talked about it. We are on the dawn. Guess what? This week we will have football on TV again. Thursday, the obviously preseason, but we have football back. And going forward, every Thursday we're gonna have football now, till till next year. So exciting times. Obviously, football's back. Football's king. Let me fix my volumes here, but there we go. But I'm excited. So let's jump right into it. So, big story. Last week we talked about training camp expectations, Ayuk not being there. Well, he was there. He's holding in. He showed up. He's not practicing, but he's in meetings. He showed up. You could say the contract is imminent because he's there, but the big surprise was someone else holding out. Trent Williams holding out, one of our best players on the team, our left tackle, big Trent Williams. Very smart play of him. Why? Why would you ask? Why would he not show up to practice? Why would he hold out, right? Well, I believe he has 2 years left, 3 years left on his contract. The rest of the money is not guaranteed. So what does that mean? If he were to get injured, the Niners could just cut him and not owe him anything. So what does he do? Knowing that he is an important position, protecting Brock Purdy's blind side as the left tackle, he said, you know what? You guys didn't draft my replacement in the draft where we talked about it. I thought they should have gone tackle, at least right tackle, or someone that could play right tackle in the future replace Trent Williams. They didn't. They went with another receiver. Okay, because they were anticipating, Ayuk holding out or maybe trading Ayuk or Debo. Okay. And now, Trent Williams, he gets pocket aces and he says, you know what? I'm going to hold out. I have all the leverage. You guys need to pay me because I'm the best player on the team, the best left tackle in the game. I'm only making $20 million a year. Yes, he signed that contract and he agreed to it, but yesterday's price is not today's price. All these other left tackles got paid. And he went to the Niners and said, you guys say I'm the best. So I want to be paid like I'm the best. I want to raise. I want more guaranteed money on my contract. And if you don't pay me, I'll just retire because, I've made all this money. I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame. Yes, I want to win the Super Bowl, but I want to take care of myself, my family. And I feel like the Niners were kind of blindsided by this. They're like, what? You're going to hold out? What about, making one last run for the Super Bowl? It's like, well, last year that was, I think most of these players are like, last year we kind of went all in, right? We're going to take one for the team, show up to all the practices, really try to go for it all. Unfortunately, we came short. It happens. And, now they're like, all right, we McCaffrey did it. He didn't have anything guaranteed on this contract. He got a pay raise. He got some guaranteed money. Juwan Jennings got paid. And now Trent Williams is like, well, what are you going to do? Not pay me? You need me. And smart play. And I'm sure he's going to get paid. I'm sure they're going to take care of him because, like I said, he is a very, very, very important and valuable asset player on the team. And the Niners got to pay him. I mean, they have to because they don't pay him if they go with the O-line, which we'll get into it, that we have right now. I don't think the Niners will win more than 8 or 9 games, and that's being generous because our literally our best off, our O line is Trent Williams, and the rest are kind of just plug and play players. Like we don't invest in our O line, which is kind of dumb because I think that that's the most important. That's a more important part of the team, protecting the quarterback, a quarterback that we will most likely be paying a lot of money going forward. So why wouldn't you want to protect them? Protect your asset. Saying all this, what happens to Ayuk now? Ayuk, obviously, the drama all season, all summer long, has been his holdout, requesting a trade, blah, 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 this. And now they're like, hey, Ayuk, we're about to pay you, but we weren't expecting Trent Williams to hold out. Now we got to pay him. Are you willing to play one more year at $50 million? It kind of sucks for Ayuk. I mean, it shows you how cold blooded things could be. They are teammates. I'm sure they're cool. I'm sure they're friends. But Trent Williams like, hey man, I got to look out for myself, for my family, like you are. And this is the only opportunity I got. Because he has the most leverage right now before Brock Purdy gets paid. I got to take the opportunity. Now, would have been different if Ayuk handled this differently, as in, not being so loud, not being so, talking about, all the antics he did to get paid. It's understandable. It's all a business. But, now, it's like, oh, I thought you were going to not show up. He shows up. He's there. I think, obviously for Ayuk, this is the first time he's able to get the bag. Trent Williams already has gotten paid. So now what? What do they do? What are the Niners going to do? I mean, is there a scenario where they could play both Trent Williams, Ayuk next year, Brock Purdy? And we'll get into it later because a couple quarterbacks got paid. So I feel like at the end of the day, this was all brought on by the Niners. The players are, I'm always going to be on the side of the players. They're trying to do, trying to get the bag. It's a very dangerous sport. They're literally a hit away from, not playing anymore, worse, paralyzing, whatever. But the Niners, I mean, I'm just a guy on YouTube talking sports amateurly, right? I saw this coming. I mean, I think what they should have done is just paid Ayuk right away. And, they could have probably signed him for 26. Cool. They should have drafted, in the most stacked offensive line draft, they should have got at least one or two tackles, in the first round. Why did we draft a receiver in the first round? Ricky Pearsall, he could be MVP. He can be an amazing player. Who knows, right? It's just the beginning, but man, offensive tackle, like they should have gone for it. They I don't know. I feel like they should have gone in that route. They didn't draft a tackle. I don't think they drafted a tackle. They drafted guards. But who's our backup tackles now? McGiveth. Right now they're using Jalen Moore, and he's getting the work. But the ones to blame are the Niners. They're always very, I don't know, cocky. Like I feel like they're a team that they're one of those teams that that I feel like they think they're the smartest in the room. They think they're never wrong. They never learn from their mistakes. And I'm happy this is happening to them, because Kyle, the Niners brass, they always think, they know what's best. They know, everything. They just think they know it all. And now they get bitten in the back because of it. Now they got to deal with it. And, they're, like I said, they're going to pay Trent Williams. That's no question. Unless, who else? I mean, if they do, there is David Bakhtiari, tackle. He's out there. But then he would have to learn our system. Other than that, there's not a lot of options left other than playing Trent Williams. As for Ayuk, I don't know how this is going to end, man. I do not know. But that's not our problem. Talking about training camp, reports are coming out that ding, 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 our O-line is looking horrible. They're not. Today, was the first padded practice for the Niners, which means is they finally get to wear pads. They finally get to hit. Brock Purdy didn't have the best of days, but is he to blame or the O line? I heard he was trying his best. He threw a couple picks. His practice. They're trying different things. I'm not worried about Brock Purdy throwing picks in practice, because I've seen what he does in games. Last year, he was kind of similar. He didn't have the best of practices, but he balled out when it mattered in games. But let's say last year's theme was the Niners' run defense wasn't really good during practice, during preseason games. And Kyle Shanahan told us not to worry about it. They weren't concerned. Throughout the season, it was very tough for us to stop the run. We saw that in the Lions game. Montgomery, what's the fast running back from the Lions? I'm missing. They ran all over us. And that was a theme in the training camp. Now the O-line right now, it's been this team and these couple practices. They haven't looked good, being dominated by, obviously we have an amazing defense, but being dominated. And Brock Purdy, he is mobile, but he's also small. If this continues, what if Brock Purdy gets hurt? What if he's out for a couple games? We got to rely on Josh Dobbs, who I've been hearing hasn't been the best also. And Brandon Allen, like our season can be derailed right there. Over. And it's just like, why don't we invest in O-linemen? Why don't we invest, in protecting the most important player, the quarterback, the most important. Look at the Chiefs when they lost their Super Bowl against the Buccaneers. What do? They invested in the O-line. They invested in protecting Patrick Mahomes. Did they lose Tyreek Hill? Yes, but they lost Tyreek Hill. They won two more Super Bowls? One more? Was he there with the Eagles? No, they won two more. I believe two more. Two more after Tyreek Hill. But they invested in protecting the most important, valuable asset that they have, Mahomes. Now, if Brock Purdy, the Niners are saying he is that, why don't we protect him? Yeah, it's great. He has Kittle, Debo, McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk if he comes back. He has all these weapons, Juszczyk. But if he doesn't have time to get the ball to him, it won't really matter. And yes, they can, make the super team. They can't pay everyone, right? But I'd rather have a legit O-line, still have McCaffrey, still have Kittle, and have either one of Debo and Ayuk. Man, I mean, ¿qué más queremos? Even with all this talent, we ended up losing, but it's not looking it's not looking good for the Niners O-line. Hopefully, I mean, they are missing pieces. They are missing, obviously, Trent Williams. They are missing Feliciano, who was the starting right guard last year with Spencer Burford. Spencer Burford got injured. I believe he broke his arm, so he's going to be out a couple bit. Obviously, I don't trust McKivitz. Aaron Banks is there. He's pretty solid. We'll see. Other training camp news for the Niners. What I'm hearing a lot is that our secondary is amazing. Mustafa, the rookie, he's looking really good. Hearing, that he might start next with Jair Brown because obviously Hufanga, he's still recuperating from his injury. So that's a positive sign. Who else? Obviously, Diomando Lenore, Travarius Ward, and the free agent corner that we picked up, he's been balling now too. I'm blanking on his name, but they're looking solid. Bosa. The linebackers too with Fred Warner and D. Winters, rookie from last year. Heard he's been stepping up, say with Jalen Graham. Jalen Graham also been looking good out there. So the defense is doing, defense, I believe they'll be better. They'll be good with Brandon Staley and our defensive coordinator. Who's the defensive coordinator? Who knows? But they're always going to be good as long as we don't have any tough injuries. So they're looking good. On the offensive side, I've been hearing a lot of Jordan Mason, that he's been looking good. Last year, I pounded on the table to give him a chance behind McCaffrey. Obviously, McCaffrey offensive player of the year. I'm not saying, bench McCaffrey, right? But I'm saying, let's still let McCaffrey run the ball, but let's give Jordan Mason, those at the end of the games when we're up or when it's a close game, let him run the ball. He's like a beast mode. He's big, fast, he can catch. I heard he's having a great training camp. Hopefully, he becomes our second running back. He's looking good. I heard a lot of Danny Gray, speedster receiver. He's having a great camp. Obviously, fighting for a spot on the team because there's a lot of receivers on this team, and there's going to be a bunch that are going to get cut. He's having a great one. Purdy's Purdy. He's looking solid. Debo, I heard he looks good, but he still can't create separation. Something to monitor. Javon Hargrave, I heard he's looking good too. Last year he wasn't his best season. He was up and down, but this season, he looks fitter, so that's good. So, like I said, we'll see how this season goes because there's still the Super Bowl hangover looming on this team. Another thing is good is last week I forgot the name, but Logan Thomas. I feel like he's a good second tight end behind Kittle. So I'm interested in how the preseason looks, who stands out. Mustafa, like I said, that's a name to remember. The rookie Mustafa. I'm forgetting the other cornerback, but he's having a great season, a great training camp. The cornerback we picked up in free agency from the Colts. He's playing well, the whole secondary. So that's what I'm interested in seeing. Other news in the NFL: Tua and Love get their bag with their extensions. So Tua got signed first, averaging about $53.1 million each year. Signed a big contract with $42 million signing bonus. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing, right? Quarterbacks, they're good. They're solid. I think Love's better. Obviously, Love had an amazing season. The last half of the season was amazing. I think he's legit. But Tua, he had his up and down moments. You could say this about Purdy too, but I don't know. I feel like Tua is definitely the team. Is definitely McDaniels that makes him look better than he really is. He doesn't have the best of arms. He's not that mobile. Injury prone. One hit to the hip is GG's. But the Miami Dolphins believe he's their franchise quarterback. He got paid. Congratulations, $53.1 million. Now, Jordan Love, he got $55 a year, $220 million extension. Like I said, we saw this coming, obviously, for these two young quarterbacks. For Love, good timing as well for the Packers to pay him. All their receivers, they're young. They still have them on their contract for maybe the next 2-3 years. Love, they've had him. That's the thing. They've seen them practice. They've seen them grow behind Aaron Rodgers. And the Packers just are able to find a replacement, groom him. Pause. That might be a pause. And then, they did it with Aaron Rodgers. Now they're doing it with Jordan Love. I think he's going to get better now. Like I said, the last half of the last season, he had an amazing season. We all remember the Cowboys games. He came short against us, but it was very close. He was this close for going to the NFC Championship game. So well deserved for both going forward. If Tua got 53, if Love got 55 from the Packers, and we only saw like a legit half a year of him, what is Brock Purdy going to get? If Brock Purdy has another solid season like he had these past 2 seasons, if they make another strong playoff push, if he wins the Super Bowl, what will Brock Purdy get? The cap's going to go up. Prices are going to go up. Can we see Brock Purdy get $60 million a year? He's for sure. I mean, I think the bottom now is, I think because of Tua signing, I think Purdy minimum he's going to ask is the 53. Obviously, he's going to want more because he's going to say, hey, I've won all these games. I've made it to a Super Bowl. I've won playoff games. Love's only won one. Tua hasn't won a playoff game, and he got all this money. So I think this is very good news for Brock Purdy. And like I said, all he has to do is just have another solid season with the Niners. If he has MVP caliber season, Sky's the limit for him. He might be the first quarter to get 60 million per year. So I think Brock Purdy owes both of them. I'm sure he's very happy that they got paid. We'll see. What will the Niners do though? What if Brock Purdy gets injured? What if Brock Purdy doesn't have the best of season? Will they come at him with, hey, that's the thing. If I'm Brock Purdy, I'm like, I'm not signing anything less than Tua got 53. I want 54. I beat Love in the playoffs. I at least 155. That's where I'm starting. He's a quarterback. I mean, like I said, then he has the leverage. The Niners keep saying, he's a franchise quarterback. Everyone says that. Pay me like a franchise quarterback. Then from there, the Niners will have to make tough decisions. But we're not there yet. We're a year away. We'll see what they do. What could they get for Brock Purdy in the trade? I'm sure a team, if the Patriots were willing to give a high second round pick for Brandon Ayuk, Brock Purdy for sure getting at least a 1, maybe 2 ones. But I don't know. Would the Niners do that? I mean, what would that say to the fans? You're selling us this quarterback of being a franchise quarterback, and yet you don't want to pay him. Now you're going to trade him. We'll see what they do, because once they sign Brock Purdy, there's going to be big decisions that need to be made for key players, older key players. And this is why we're in this situation now with Trent Williams, Ayuk, all these players wanting to get paid because they know next year is going to be tough. But congratulations to Love. We'll see how they do. I believe Love will probably have a better season than Tua. Only time will tell. Other thing I saw, this is an Alberto question. Alberto also, he did ask the Trent Williams and the Ayuk questions. I just split them into two, but I don't know if you guys seen the video of there were Raiders players in their training camp. They had like a Kermit the Frog with like a Chiefs jersey, making fun of obviously Mahomes because he has the Kermit voice. I don't know how Mahomes speaks. But they were making fun of him. They called him the B word, blah blah blah. And I feel like this is where the Raiders made a mistake, because we know Mahomes, 3 Super Bowls. He's the GOAT right now, best player in the NFL, going to be a Hall of Famer, and you're just going to add more motivation to him. He's going to play you twice a year. You don't think he's going to remember this? You don't think? Because but what did he say? He said, like, when the time comes, we'll see, or like, we'll take care of business. It's like, come on, Raiders fans, like, why you want to poke the beast, the bear? Like, it's already hard facing him, and now he's going to be extra motivated, and he doesn't like you guys. So it's just Raiders being Raiders, usual things, typical Raiders things. Man, I don't know. I as much as Mahomes over the years has made my life miserable, you got to respect the guy. He's the best. It's like with Tom Brady. A lot of people didn't like Tom Brady, but then they would respect Tom Brady because he's the GOAT. Mahomes, he's our new GOAT. I wish him. I don't want them to win again, but the respect is there. I wouldn't want to put bulletin board material for him to be extra motivated when he goes against you. But like I said, Raiders doing Raiders things, the usual. Now that we've recapped football, UFC 304 in Manchester. Interesting event. Obviously, I saw it with my boy, the Rat, and my boy Christopher. Parlay was made, and parlay broke with the last fight, but we'll get into it. We'll recap. So we had Arnold versus Giga. That one, I think in last week's show, I chose Arnold. Back and forth, but Arnold won by decision. I guess let me start off with, obviously this card was in Manchester. And it was crazy because I believe the fights started around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And, the main event started at like 5. It was probably over by 6 a.m. Kind of crazy, if you ask me. I mean, it was crazy. The fans there, obviously in England, they were there. They seemed hyped. I don't know how you make it. I mean, I don't know how they did it. Obviously, maybe some alcohol was involved, but that's crazy. But I don't know. obviously in the interview at the end, Dana White was kind. You could tell he was kind of. I don't know if it was the lack of sleep, but he was very annoyed with this card, saying, I'm never gonna up the bonuses anymore. You should thank these fighters, for not fighting, for not being motivated. But I don't know what is the fighting at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I don't know if you're gonna get the best, even if they trained, even though if they prepared their bodies for that time. I wouldn't have mind if the fights over here were a little earlier. Obviously he did it because he wanted the fights here in the US to start at like 7 p.m. But even if even if we would have saw the main event at like the latest 3 p.m., I don't. That would have been cool. Like I wouldn't have mind, or I don't know, because also in the East Coast is 3 hours ahead, so it would have been over there like at 6, 5. I mean, it's not bad, but I think that affected some of these fights going to decision. Being a little boring sometimes. We'll get to the main event, but Arnold Allen deservingly. Then we had RoboCop versus 10-1 guy. RoboCop, man, destroyed this guy. RoboCop manhandled him. Legit. That one went to decision as well. Then the one that I was surprised. I mean, I had picked Patty to win, but man, he looked good. He looked really good. Bobby Green, he's tough. He has good hands. I think he made a mistake by trying to take the takedown because, Patty the Batty. He's a legit jiu-jitsu guy, and he fucking choked him out. He looked great. He looked good. The train is going to keep going up for him. Congrats to Patty the Batty. Very, very, very dominant win. Next one, Aspinall versus Curtis Razor Blades. El Patty a contender. I need 2 more because now he's ranked. So if he fights someone ranked, and then he jumps to like the 6, 7, 5, beats that, yes, I say I was really impressed with his performance this weekend for Patty. Like I said, Bobby Green, he's tough. He's a tough fighter. He has great hands. I think he just made a mistake, and then the transitions from the different types of chokes he was trying to do, it's crazy, man. And he has the aura. He has that aura. But Curtis Blades versus Tom Aspinall. I had Tom. So my parlay, I chose the last 3. I went with Patty, Tom Aspinall, and I went Leon. So obviously you can tell my excitement going into the main event, but Aspinall, man. A lot of people saying early stoppage. I don't think so. I mean, what was Curtis Blades going to do? He was on his stomach, getting punched in the head. Eventually, he would have been knocked out. Like there was no way for him to get up. I think so. Deservedly well, but man, Aspinall, he's great. He's amazing. He's quick, good hands. He can adjust. Yes, most of his fights kind of end early, but now I want to see Aspinall, John Jones. Obviously they're legends, Stipe, John Jones, but I honestly don't care. But I think John Jones is going to win, and I want to see Aspinall, John Jones, like more than Stipe, John Jones. I get it. They want to, it's probably Stipe's last fight, standing ovation. Okay, cool. But I'm more interested in, I want to see if Aspinall can do it against John Jones. John Jones, the GOAT. He made against Cyril Gahn. We were saying, Cyril Gahn, quick for his feet, and he manhandled him. But I feel like, I don't know, man. Aspinall's legit. Because Curtis Blades, he ain't easy. And he did it. He made it look easy. So that's what I'm more intrigued with. And I hope, it gets done. Because it's kind of weird that, he defended his interim belt. Because he's not really, I don't know. I feel like the interim champion is not really the champion. I think whoever has undisputed is the legit champion. But Aspinall, he won the interim belt, and now he defended the interim belt. I think he is the champion, but obviously Uncle Dana, his love for John Jones is there, and he considers him his GOAT. So we'll see. Crazy things happen. Stipe could get injured. They asked Dana if Aspinall will be the backup if anything happens. He said he will be the backup. crazy things happen. We could still see it at Madison Square Garden in November. But man, I was impressed by Aspinall. He's legit. Um, let's talk way in the future if there's ever a if if Aspinall does become undisputed, and my boy Chama wants to test himself. What a fight that would be. I don't know. Obviously I love Chama. That's my boy. I really like Aspinall as well. I would want Chama to do it, but I don't know, man. I mean, Aspinall. I don't know. It would be a crazy fight. It would be an entertaining fight. They both have deadly power. But I feel like I don't know. That would be good. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now the main event. Leon Edwards versus now we gotta remember the name Bilal Muhammad because a lot of people forgot the name. Going into that, I was like, this is my thoughts. I was like, if Leon, when he fought Kamaru Usman, the wrestler, if he couldn't be taken down by Kamaru Usman, and then he fought Kobe Covington, if he couldn't be taken down by Kobe Covington, he even took down Kamaru Usman. What's Bilal Muhammad gonna do? Bilal Muhammad, I felt like doesn't even have hands. Boy, was I wrong. I was wrong. Bilal Muhammad not only ragdolled him, manhandled him, he actually, put up a good, he was keeping his own with his hands. It was funny. I don't know if you guys watched The Embedded, but his trainer was saying he has hands like Canelo Alvarez, and we're like, no mames, también. But they were against Leon, like, I don't know. And this is when I go back to the time, right? It was 5 a.m. Leon Edwards interviewed after the fight saying, he didn't feel right. He didn't feel, like he just didn't feel right. It could be the time, he could have just his body was tired, right? You got to remember for Leon, it is 5 a.m. For a fighter like Bilal Muhammad, he's from Chicago, he's from the US. For him, it is, his body's probably like it's around like 10, 9 p.m. for him, right? Could that have been the factor? Who knows? But Bilal Muhammad, he looked good. He looked like Khabib. Leon Edwards could not do anything. I saw that he got thrown on his head. And is it a boring style of fight? The hugging, the crotch sniffing. Obviously, we all like, a fucking, back and forth, hands. We like it. But it's part of the game. You're a mixed martial artist. You got to know how to defend yourself from it. You got to know how to make an adjustment. And I felt like Leon Edwards, he just wasn't fully there. He couldn't do anything. He looked slow. And Bilal won, deservedly so. Obviously, I believe they've been talking a lot how they don't want to give Leon the instant rematch. I believe he deserves it. He not only be the best, he one of the best of all times in Kamaru Usman twice. He defended it against Kobe. I think he deserves, one last shot, one rematch. But the name out there that would be interesting, and I feel he might be able to be below is Rahman Shamanov. Maybe I got that in reverse, but that guy's scary. The guy from Kazakhstan. I guess that's the next fight to go. Bilal Muhammad versus him. Because other than that, who else? There's still Kamaru Usman, but I think it's Shakman Ramanov. Definitely the way. If it's not Leon, it has to be him. There's been talks of Ian Gary, but I think he needs to win one more. He did face MVP, but MVP, was just got to the MMA. I think he needs to fight someone. I don't think he's that good. He didn't look that impressive against MVP. But congrats to Bilal. Remember the name. He did, a lot of people hate on him that he's boring, but man, time after time he has proved it. Short notice. He's fought everyone that was put in front of him. He's also on a crazy winning streak. So congrats to him, man. Things that don't change. Chelsea being in mid-season form already. What can I say, man? Chelsea, they just, they're the gift that keeps on giving. Not only do they tie against Wrexham, who is like third, fourth division in England. I will say I watched the first half of that game and he was here at Levi's. There were some players that I really enjoyed. forward, El Guiu from Spain. He looks solid, like a number 9. I think that's what we're missing. In Kunku, he looked good. Our defense looked pretty. They looked all right. Cal, love seeing my boy Reece James back. But obviously, they're missing. They're missing the best player in the world, the best player in England, Cole Palmer. Duh. They're missing my boy, Pepe's boy Enzo. They were missing Caicedo. They were missing, the next coming of Roberto Carlos Cacarella. So there's a lot of key players missing. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, 4-1 to Celtic. I didn't watch that game, but man, just they're now it's preseason, different tactics. With this new coach, he's trying different things, trying to play more out the back, kind of like Pep Guardiola. But you need the players, you need the right players to play that way. I felt like Chelsea they were losing a lot of balls trying to play out. It does take time. It is preseason, but 4-1. I could understand a 2-0, a 1-0. Things happen. Kind of like the Wrexham game. Some mistakes. They capitalized. They were tied at the end, but and we'll see with Chelsea, with the players that they're missing. We'll see if, like I said, this coach is able to implement his style. It does take time to build that style, and it might be another first half of a season where we struggle, and then once we get acclimated to the tactics, we'll look better. Celtic ran through Chelsea that game, laughing out. Hey, Celtic! I miss Celtic in Champions. I remember when we were younger, when they had Nakamura, they had some cool players, man. Celtic they would play well in Champions League. But 4-1. Come on, Mudryk. What a disappointment he's been. But we move. I got this one from my boy. I do not get it. I don't know if it's a TikTok video. I don't have TikTok, but he says, "Y tú cómo pitas?" Like as a ref, I don't know. I wouldn't be. I don't know. I wouldn't be. I'll let them play. I wouldn't be calling all the fouls. But like I said, if this is like a joke or something, I don't have TikTok. I'm sorry. I don't know what this means. But ¿y tú cómo pitas? Or is it misspelled somewhere? Like ¿y tú cómo pintas? I'm not a good painter. I don't know. Young kids, let me know. Another game happened at Levi's. Does Chivas draw the same amount of crowd as Mexico? Levi's was packed. San Jose was the away team. Well, I mean, that's kind of, let's be honest. San Jose Earthquakes, I only know legit, like maybe one or two people that are legit San Jose Earthquakes fans. The rest of us are like, yeah, they're there. Like, I'll go to a game here or there. But Chivas is Chivas. Chivas is the most popular team in Mexico. We're in California, in the Bay Area, where there's a lot of people from Mexico that live here, especially from Guadalajara. But dude, I agree. Chivas would draw the same amount anywhere. LA, here, Texas. It's Chivas. Say what you want, they're ass, but one of the most popular teams in Mexico. That's crazy. Saturday too. My Chelsea played on the Wednesday. Traffic time, people coming out for work. Si no, ese estadio hubiera estado lleno if it was on Saturday, but I digress now. But Saturday, obviously Saturday, good time, Chivas, but they're disappointed. I didn't watch the game. Why would I waste my time? But I know Pancho was there, Bani, Nene. How was it? Were they really ass? They lost against the worst team in the MLS, the San Jose Earthquakes. Who, like I said, the only player I know from the Earthquakes, if he still plays there, is Espinosa. Does Wondolowski still play there? Does Corrales still play there? Does what's his name, Lenhart, play there still? Dwayne De Rosario, does he play there? But it's all business. The Leagues Cup is business, man. It's business. Us, we support our teams. We're gonna go watch go have a great time. Does it benefit? I was reading actually the article about how the MLS, there's some teams that are upset with the Leagues Cup because I think in the MLS, and especially those amateur teams, they used to really love playing the US Open Cup or something where, like, for example, I know back in the day, right, my people in Jaza, they would play that tournament, right? I mean, in the like bottom rounds, but potentially there's been like this US was the second division league in the MLS. They sometimes they go to like those final round, and it's like good like exposure for these players, to be seen from the MLS. And because the MLS obviously money, Apple, they pay a lot of money to show the TV rights. They're upset that some of these MLS teams will rather do the Leagues Cup. But like I said, it's all business, understandable. I'm sure the US Cup is beneficial for those lower division like teams and leagues, but for the MLS, sometimes they don't even take like their top players. Should have played Chidi. Why didn't Chidi play? I mean, also, happy birthday to our boy Chidi. Congratulations. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Hopefully, everything's good. I saw the video of him hugging Chicharito after they scored the tying goal. That's our boy. That's our champ for fantasy. But happy birthday, bro. Hope you had a great one. But yeah, man, they should play Chidi. 100%. If they start playing Chidi now, by the 2026 World Cup, he will be in the midfield at Mexico, because right now, Mexico ass. I mean, and Chidi is our savior. He's the one that's going to take us to the sixth game. I'm putting that pressure on you, Chidi. Speaking of the Mexican national team, they announced Javier Aguirre and Rafa Marquez. We touched upon it last week. Like I said, we know what we're getting with Javier Aguirre. He's going to solidify structure, and, Rafa Marquez will be in the background, implementing what he's learned in Barça B. Obviously, Rafa's Rafa, most decorated Mexican player ever. Maybe Hugo Sanchez, but then there's Rafa Marquez, definitely. He's the captain, then he has that passion, that aggression. Obviously, it will be his team after the World Cup, I believe. But I just want the Mexican national team just play better. Stop with this TikTok era of players. We need legit players that will play for the badge, like Torrado, Abel Pardo, Cuauhtemoc, Jair Borghetti, Dos Santos. We go a little Chicharito. These were the players of Salcido, Osvaldo Sanchez. I mean, Ochoa's still there, but Ochoa, this is what I need. I just want them to fight for that flag and not this, whatever they are. But that wraps up the sports. Now we go to what has become favorite segments of these shows. So the first question, if you were an X-Men, what power would you want? Definitely got to go with Wolverine, and we'll get into it. But Wolverine, I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want to? You basically can't die. Any injury, it regenerates on the spot. Your skeleton is adamantium, so you're indestructible. I'm sure throughout the comics, I mean, obviously in the movie Logan, he dies, and I won't spoil Deadpool and Wolverine. We'll get into it, but he's indestructible. Him, definitely that's number one. I think we would all choose that one. But let's look at the negatives, right? You kind of live forever. It's hard to build relationships because if you do have friends, you're gonna outlive them, and you know, kind of sad if you think about it. You outlive your friends, watch them grow old, and then you kind of start fresh. And over time, I mean, you see a lot of shit. A lot of war, a lot of destruction. But that, not to get dark, that would be one. Maybe Professor X, power to read minds, control people. He's very powerful, but since he's a good guy, he doesn't tap into what he can do. So that would be another one. Professor X. One I always used to like was Nightcrawler, being able to, teleport wherever you want. I think he has to see it and he can teleport there, but that's a cool one. And you're all blue, like Chelsea, What about Mystique? be able to shave shift to whoever you want. Could be kind of cool, but then it could be kind of pause moments where you can, you can shape shift into anyone. You can shape shift into Donald Trump, into Biden, take over the world like that. And, they wouldn't know if that's another one. But I would have to say Wolverine. That would be my first choice. Wolverine. Speaking of Wolverine, on Thursday, I went to go watch Deadpool Wolverine. No spoilers. I'm not going to spoil anything. All I'm going to say is Marvel back? Because this probably won't. Good movie. Great movie. Great Marvel movie. Probably like the last one that I really enjoyed obviously was Spider-Man. Was it No Way Home? The one where those old school villains come back. That one was great. But then they've had a lot of hit or misses. They went woke. And this one right here, they're back. Obviously, Deadpool is Deadpool. He can break the fourth wall. No filter. The cameos in this movie, there was some that I was like, damn. But I really enjoyed this movie. I like the story. Very funny, obviously. I recommend it. Go watch it if you haven't. I might want to watch it again because it was that good. But Deadpool, Wolverine, Marvel is back. And I say Marvel is back because someone else came back. Obviously, if you're a big nerd like me, Comic-Con is going on. And Robert Downey Jr., a.k.a. Tony Stark, he's actually coming back to play a different character, Doctor Doom. Very, very, very popular villain. And my question, obviously, so Marvel, not only are they bringing Robert Downey Jr. back, they're bringing the Russo brothers back. Who are the Russo brothers, Gio? The Russo brothers are the directors that directed Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War. They directed the Infinity Saga. So they know what they're doing. They basically have directed the best Marvel movies, that Marvel has. Marvel's like, hey, we need to do something, because with the Marvels, all these other movies that have flopped, they're like, we need to do something. So that's good that they're bringing the Russo brothers back because that movie's gonna be popping. Now Robert Downey Jr. is back as a different character, and my question was, Alberto, we DM'd back and forth. So obviously that's great. He's gonna play a different character. He's not gonna play Tony Stark. But like, are the other characters like? Are they gonna see him as like, who's this Doctor Doom, or are they gonna see him as like Tony Stark, but he's like from a different multiverse, from a different universe? So he's Victor Von Doom, and he's not actually Tony Stark. But are like the other characters gonna be like, hey, Tony Stark, what are you doing? Like, how are you the villain? Da 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 da. So I'll be interesting. I'm interested in that. That this is like a different. Obviously it's Robert Downey Jr., but he's from a different universe, or he's Doctor Doom. Kind of what they did with what was that movie? The Doctor Strange one, the multiverse one, where spoilers if you haven't seen it, where there's Mr. Fantastic being played by the guy from The Office, and there's different versions of different characters. So I'm excited. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr. He's been missed. So that should be good. I'm excited for that going forward. If anything you get from this show is the Niners should pay Trent Williams. Chelsea are in mid-season form. And you should go watch Deadpool and Wolverine, only in theaters. Sponsor me. Sponsor me, Marvel and Disney. I'll start talking good about Star Wars. Come on. The acolyte. Okay, well, we're at the end of the show. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you guys watch this later, leave a comment, like, subscribe, leave a comment of what you thought about today's topics. Also leave comments if you want to talk about different topics. I can touch up on it next week. But we leave with the most famous segment of the show, Gio's Words of Wisdom. And today, what we're going to jump into is belief. Belief, as I always start the show, believe in yourself. Just believe. Believe in whatever you want to believe, but stick to it. Stick to it. Don't be afraid of not believing, because you can do it. Because I believe in you, and you believe in yourself. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys again. Hope you have a wonderful Monday, wonderful week. I will see you next week. Peace out.